I wrote my first song in 2011, so that was about 12 years ago. And the title of that track was Lost. How I got started writing was, at the time, I was managing quite a few artists. One of the artists that I was managing was an artist by the name of Ace Rain. And somehow she came across one of my poems. At the time when I did write, I just kind of blogged occasionally, and I wrote poems, a lot of poems at that time. And every now and then I would post a poem of mine online, and somehow she came across one of my poems. And when she saw that poem, she read it, she heard music. I have never written a song in my life at that particular point. And she spent, I don't know, the next 6 months or so trying to convince me that I can write music. And so eventually at some point she dared me to write a song. And I took up the challenge with the attitude that to prove to her I couldn't write music. And so when she dared me, the agreement was that I had to write a full song and then put it online for people to hear it. And so I got with a guy named Gino, who sung the lyrics on the track as well as produced it for me. I mean, his business partner at the time produced the track for me. And I put it out there and I was shocked. It made quite a bit of noise. I got quite a bit of positive feedback on it. So it made me curious. And so I followed up that song with the single called Every Time I Weep. Every Time I Weep. And then I partnered up with this guy named Lacey B, who sung on the track and produced it. Now he's a good average singer, but he produces better than he sings. But he did a jam-out job on that track. He really did. And that track, I put it out there just to see what would happen, and it rattled some gauges. It got more feedback than I expected in the first track. And I was like, okay, wait a minute now. So my next two songs, which is, I think I got maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 different songs out there that's actually published. But my next 2 songs were the songs that got me more attention, that I realized, okay, there's something here. And so I don't remember which I did first. I think I did Love Conspiracy, which was a hip hop rap song, and I got with Ace. She did the female vocals on that track. And I got with a guy named Crucify out of the Canada area, and he did the rap for the male vocals on that area. And so there was this back and forth controversy between the two. And on the track, Ring Entertainment was the one that produced that track. And that track got me a lot of attention in the industry, even by some major labels, as well as it got me into the international market. And my music started to get a little play on airtime on radio and things of that nature. But the song probably that is my favorite is Don't Know How to Love. I partnered with Nashville Song Service after writing that song, and they used the recording artist that's on their in their company. Her name was Holly Sims. And Holly Sims, she sung that song like she had lived the story that I told in that lyrics. I mean, she made that song hers. And I was just blown away. But I took Love Conspiracy and don't let me not discredit Nashville Song Service. They did a great job in producing that track as well. I took that song, Don't Know How to Love, and Love Conspiracy, entering quite a few song competitions, and they did extremely well. With one of the songs that I had put out there, out of the 6 songs I wrote, even won one of the Grammy-winning prizes for the track. I think it was "Don't Know How to Love," but I would have to go back and look it up to confirm that, because during that time frame I won quite a few song competitions that I was pretty pleased of, and it convinced me, okay, there's evidently a talent here that's been laying dormant in myself that I wasn't aware of, and so I need to do something with that skill. And so I think I produced, maybe had 2 more songs I produced after "Don't Know How to Love," and it sealed the deal. And so if we want to say when the Newford Music actually begun, that was the time when I first started writing my first song in 2011. Even though Felicia and I hadn't met yet, that's when Newford Music really begun. I don't remember what year Felicia and I actually met, because it seems like I've known Felicia forever. You know, Felicia's and I are business partners, best friends. We have several small businesses together, and we run several ministries together. But it seemed like we've grown up, known each other, like I said, forever. And she's like family to me. She's like my sister. But anyway, at some point she somehow, and I really don't know how she found us out to this day, she found out that I had some dealings in the music industry, and she kept questioning me about that aspect of my life, and I was ignoring the questions, trying to avoid having that conversation, because I hadn't had even share what I was doing in the music industry with my family or closest friends at that time. So I was avoiding her questions, and one day we talked about what I was doing in the music industry, and in the middle of the conversation she eventually got up, and when she got up she went out of the room into another room, and when she came back with the suitcase, and she put the suitcase on the table. And looking at her confused, because I wasn't quite sure what was the meaning behind it. And then I realized she wanted me to look what was inside the suitcase. So when I opened up, there was piles of paper on top of paper, and notebooks. And so I grabbed one of the papers and I started reading, and I realized it was like a poem, and it was very well written. And I looked at her puzzled, and as I was reading, she begins to tell me this journey that she's been on in writing music, and her musical talents and abilities. And by this time, Felicia and I have been hanging with each other for a while, and I had no idea she had any musical abilities. So I asked her to sing the song I happened to have in my hand at the time. I don't remember which one I had. And she begins to sing it, and I was blown away. Just hearing the flow of the song, how well structured the song was. I was even more surprised that she could sing, because at that time I didn't even know Felicia could sing, and I think we might have been hanging out about 2 years at this particular point. And so I pull out maybe 2-3 more songs and ask her to sing it. Sing this, sing that. And I was blown away. Every song that I pulled out that she sung, I loved it. They were well done, well put together, very poetically sound. It drew me in, even just to hear the way she flowed when she sung it. If that track was on in a store somewhere to buy, I would purchase it. It was just that good. And that was the beginning of us having more conversation about, okay, what does this mean? I have some musical talent that I discovered within the past few years, and you've been doing this pretty much all your life, and you want to do something with it, but you just haven't been able to partner with the right person or people. So what is this that we're looking at? Well, after I had discovered all this musical talent that Felicia had, and we decided, let's try out something together. I wanted to see, for some reason, I really at the time I didn't know why I did it. I wanted to see how well we could write something together, just one project. So I wrote down the first verse to a lyrics, and I gave it to her and told her to read it. I was working on something, and I wanted her to add whatever comes in her spirit to the track. And so she added a second verse, and then when she gave me back the what she had did, I thought it was really good, and so I finished it up, put a hook on it, and chorus, and a bridge on it, and then I submitted that song, which was titled "No Other Love," to Nashville Song Service. I asked them to produce it, and again, they did a really good job on the track. And then I submitted that track across social media and entered in quite a few song competitions, and it did really well. It really did. So I knew then, okay, this here is bigger than what I can see right now. It's bigger than what her and I can see right now. And Newford Music was official at that point. Yeah, but the challenge came in when we realized, okay, we should step in together and form Newford Music. Felicia was all her music was gospel, Christian type music. That's all she had ever written, with the exception, I think, 2 tracks. At the time, I had never written a single gospel track. I haven't. I did rap, pop, R&B, and country, but Christian gospel music was just not on my radar. Never thought about it. In fact, during that time frame, I didn't really listen to Christian gospel music. I wasn't a big fan of Christian gospel music because my only familiarity with gospel music at that time was the old hymns they used to do and sing when I was coming up, and I was that type of style of music didn't appeal to me. I didn't know anything about C.C. Winans, and I'm trying to think of a Chris Timlin, I think is how you pronounce his name, or Will Downing, or any of those other cats that I listen to nowadays. I wasn't familiar with those artists at that time, and so I didn't think there was any gospel music beyond what I grew up with. And like I said, I wasn't a fan of that, but I knew it was Felicia's passion. If she was going to do this, the only style of music she was going to do was Christian gospel. So if this was going to work, I had to make a sacrifice. I had to make a decision to make the switch, or it wasn't going to work. I wrote my first song called "I Need You," and it's an emotional song. It's a personal, very emotional song for me. It was during a season where I was really growing in my faith and relationship with God, and I reached a point I wanted more of Him than where I was at that time in my life. The job that I worked at the time, I hated with a passion. I knew I was called to something bigger than what I was doing. I knew it had something to do with ministry. I just had no idea what it was at the time and what it looked like and what I'm supposed to do, but I just knew where I was. That wasn't what I was supposed to be. And so I remember on my way going to work that I hated at that time, I was crying out to God, and I got quiet for a minute. And as I got quiet, poetically I started speaking in my heart. And as I was speaking to my heart, I was like, wait a minute, this could be a song. And so I'm driving, I grab a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm capturing what I'm feeling in my heart at that time. And eventually by the time I got to work, I had a full song. I Need You.